What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be changing out a transmission plug adapter. So this is the new updated part A203-540-0253, and this is what it looks like. There is two O-rings, 1 and 2. So on the old part, this is what leaks, and yeah, you'll have a transmission leak, which I'll show you in a minute what it looks like under the car. So all you need for this job is a T30 Torx bit, okay, so a T30 Torx bit, and a 7mm 1/4 inch socket. I've got some gloves, which is a good idea, and a rag, and a drain pan. Let's get started. First order of business, safety. So we got the car on jack stands. It's jacked up, so we have a bit more room under the car. I put a rubber mat down so I can crawl under the car, and yeah, get the work done. As you can see, we're under the car, and this is our transmission and the transmission pan. And as you can see, there's a leak which comes down from this corner and it's tracking down that way. So the source of the leak is behind this heat shield. We'll remove that with our T30, which is here. Okay, and yeah, we'll come back in a second after we remove that to show you what it looks like behind it. Here is the pilot bushing, as they call it. Mercedes calls it pilot bushing. So there's the pilot bushing, and that's the connector which goes up inside the car into the transmission control module. So you see this tab here, you just need to pull on it with your finger. Okay, you don't need a pry bar, you don't need a screwdriver, you don't need anything. It's made so you can pull on it by hand, okay? And all you do is just pull on that, and it goes down like that, clicks all the way down. Take note of the position of it, where it stops, because you're going to be putting the new one back exactly in the same position, okay? So once that drops like this, then the plug will come out. Here it is, and it just slides out. There we go. It is quite wet, see, it's dripping. I did put new O-ring in there. There's one inside now, just so I can get to work and back for a few days until my part came in. Now we will, you do not need to change the O-ring on this apparently. So you can leave the original one on. I changed it because I can, and you know, I thought it's a good measure to do that. Now we will get to the pilot bushing, and that's held in by a 7mm bolt. Come back and I'll show you this in a sec. As you can see, we've got a wrench on there with a 7mm. So that goes straight in the middle of the pilot bushing, and so you need to obviously spin that bolt anti-clockwise to get it out. I'll do that and I'll come back in a second. There you go, just wrenching away, getting that 7mm bolt out. Be ready with your drain pan, because once you pull that bushing out, there's going to be some fluid that'll come out, roughly about maybe 200 to 500 ml, but not a lot. Now that we've loosened the screw all the way out, the pilot bushing is ready to come out. And so get your drain pan ready underneath it, and you just pull it straight out, maybe wiggle it slightly back and forth, back and forth. Here it is, it's coming out now. And I'm just going to move the camera so it doesn't get all oily. Here it is. Okay. See, a bit of oil comes out, it's normal. And this is the old pilot bushing. This is the number that's superseded, 140 2700250. Alright, so that's the old number. I believe it started with the W140. Late model W140s were installing 722.6 transmissions, and they had exactly the same pilot bushing as this NL. Alright, now we'll get the new one in. Okay, here's a new pilot bushing installed. The leak immediately stops. There's no more dripping going on anymore, which means the job was good. You just got to make sure it's seated all the way in. See the position of it there, and it sits all the way in, and then you've got to retighten that 7-foot bolt. Alright, we'll do that and come back in a second. Alright, so put the plug back in. We've cleaned it up. Like I said, there's one O-ring on the plug. You don't need to change that. Yeah, the dealer says not to change it. So you put that back on. You don't need to remove that cover there. Okay, you don't need to remove the cover. Some people remove that cover. There's absolutely no reason to do that. And then once you've lined up your pins, it should go in about that far. Okay, and then when you sort of, as you're pushing down, this will oh, not quite, there we go. Try and do it on camera. Alright, I'll just yeah, I'll finagle that back in, and I'll come back and show you once it's all in. So the new part that I got is defective. See if you can spot where the problem is. Well, I couldn't spot it at first, but now I can. It is actually missing one of these teeth. The third tooth that sits there is missing. So you saw me struggle with it, trying to put it in. The plug will just not lock into place. I tried back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It would not plug into place. I don't think I've broken this off, although that is a possibility. I thought this is a defective part from Mercedes. I went to exchange it, and naturally they told me no, I can't exchange it because it's been put on the car and there's oil on it, so I'll have to buy another one. So I bought another one, and I noticed the new one, it does have those 3 teeth there, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. But the color of the plastic is darker than the other one that I got, and it's similar color to the old part. So hopefully this part will work. We'll give it a whirl and come back and report. All right, thought I'd share that because in all my years of working on my cars and buying new parts, I have never ever come across this before. They said to me, you know, what is stopping us from saying that this damage happened while you were installing it? Well, it did not happen while I was installing it, because I installed it myself, and it's as simple as putting in that bolt in place, lining it up, putting it in place, and then putting the plug in the correct orientation and locking it in. And it would not lock in no matter what I tried. It would not lock in, and you saw me struggle with it. I put the old part back in just to stop the leak, and it immediately went in and it immediately locked in, no problems whatsoever. So I believe this is the defective part, and yeah, this is the defect right here. And I even noticed, looking very closely, I don't know if you can see on camera, but the edge over here, this edge is not really smooth. It's kind of jagged compared to the new part. The new part has a really, really smooth edge. So yeah, maybe it's just a bad batch, and it was my bad. I looked, and I looked at the bottom, and I looked at the holes and everything. Everything looked to be exact like the old part, but I did not pay attention to these teeth, and yeah, I I struggled with it for actually quite a while, until I put my finger in and I ran my finger around. I felt one little knob, I felt the other one, and then the third one was missing, and I thought, something going on here. I took it off, I compared it to the old part, and sure enough, it was missing one of these teeth. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. I'll put the new part in, and hopefully the new part will go in nice and easy, and I'll come back and report on that. All right. So I can confirm that the new part went in like butter. It clicked into place and locked the plug into place straight away, and there was no drama whatsoever. So I can confirm the new part was defective. It's a shame that I didn't check it before I put it on, because once you put it on, you get a little bit of oil on it and stuff. They will not honor that part anymore, and they will not exchange it, because it's been fitted onto the car. So that's lesson learned. Before you fit anything onto a car, check, double check, triple check that it looks right before you install it. Luckily it wasn't too expensive, this part, but yeah, I guess you learn something every day. Here is the old defective part. All right, and I mean, I did no damage to it whatsoever. It was like that straight out of the box. And here's the old part. I've got to mention something as well about the old part. Here it is. So the old part, I was reading online that the actual plastic can warp. So if you change the O-rings, it'll still leak. And that's what I did. I changed the O-rings on this old part, and it was still leaking, because with time and age and hot and cold engine cycles, the plastic will warp, and yeah, it'll be out of round basically, and it'll start leaking. No matter how many O-rings you put on it, it's just going to leak. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful and informative. If you have any questions about this job, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer all your questions in the comments. All right. So the last step of this repair is actually measuring the transmission fluid level. This is a 1220 millimeter dipstick that you can buy online, Amazon or eBay or AliExpress. 1220 mil long. Okay, you get this. You make sure that the car is at operating temperature, so at 80 degrees exactly, because the transmission fluid goes through the radiator, which means the transmission fluid temperature would be about 80 degrees. You take this cap off, alright, the transmission cap off, just pull it straight up like that, okay, and then you get your dipstick, put that in. So obviously you would have lost a little bit of fluid doing this, so this is just to measure how much you need to put back in, and it should go down to just about there and stop, and then you pull it out. Alright, trying to do this with one hand. Okay, and it's just below the maximum line. So we'll put a little bit more oil in and then check again. Alright, everything's back together. The heat shield's back, the plug is back. So it's all the reverse order of taking it apart. Hopefully that helps someone. You know, if you ever have a transmission leak and you think that it's probably your transmission pan gasket, it's most likely your pilot bushing. Hopefully that's helped someone out there, and please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel if you can, and I'll continue making those videos for you. Alright, have a good one. See you in the next one.